Hey everyone, I'm Julia, and in this tutorial we will create a register form in Gutenberg with the help of the free JetFormBuilder plugin. In the first part of a video, we will try two different ways of creating a form, manually and using patterns. And in the second part, first of all we will style it, and then I will show you how to apply it in Gutenberg, a couple of ways of displaying it in Elementor, and even in a pop-up. In case you're new to our channel, make sure you're subscribed and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Before we begin, I'd like to mention a couple of sources that might come in handy when creating forms. First of all, a JetFormBuilder playlist on our channel with lots of useful tutorials. And also you can visit JetFormBuilder website and proceed to documentation. And there you will find reading guides on everything related to the forms, how to work with them, and their settings, post-submit actions, and so on. And don't hesitate to take a look. For this tutorial you need JetFormBuilder plugin and also JetStyleManager, as we will be styling the form at the end. A register form will be created in Gutenberg, however I will show a way of using the same form in Elementor. If you haven't installed JetFormBuilder yet, you can go to JetFormBuilder.com and the download button will be right on the home page. Or you can go to Plugins, Add New, search for JetFormBuilder, and click Install. Once it's activated, a new menu item will appear in the dashboard, JetFormBuilder. To add a form, simply click on Add New. You will be redirected to the blank editing window with the default form fields, Hidden, Text, and Submit field. Since we're going to build a form from scratch, let's just delete them. Set a name of the form, for example, Register Form. Basically, forms are made with fields. Click on the Add Block button right here on top and start typing field. And there will be 21 different field blocks like checkbox field, number or text field, radio, select, and many others. Let's look at the example of a form we're going to create today. So here we have 3 text fields, 1 select field, and 1 submit field. Yes, the sign up button is also a field block. Now let's get back to our form and add these same blocks. So the first one will be text field block. I'm gonna duplicate it 3 times. Then add select field. And also submit one. Guys, just a quick note here. We're constantly improving our product, so JetFormBuilder got an update just recently. If you're trying to find the submit block now, don't worry, it's here, but now it is called Action Button. Keep that in mind. Every block has its own settings that can be found on the right side of the screen under the Block tab. And of course, they will be a bit different depending on the block type. By the way, in one of our previous tutorials on contact form, we took a look at each settings option, so if you missed it, I highly suggest you check that video out. So, text field is a pretty simple one. You just need to fill in the field label. For example, let it be name. Also, you can add a description if needed, and it will be visible under the field. Now, a bit below, under the field settings, make sure that you have text selected as a field type. This will be it, so let's move on to the next ones and add the labels. The second field is for the email address, and also we need to change the field type. Let's unfold this option, and here we can see 5 different types. It means that whenever you create a new field, for example for email or telephone number, make sure that you select the proper field type. So if it's email right now, you have to select email type. And the next one is password. And again, the field type will be password as well. The last one, select and submit field. I don't have this field type option, so we can change only labels here. Instead of submit, the button says now sign up. Before we go any further, I think we need something that will tell the visitors of a website that they cannot submit this form without filling all the necessary fields. And it's really easy to do. You just select the block you need, and there will be this is required toggle. Click on it, and an asterisk symbol will appear next to the label. Here we go. So this form is super easy to do. It doesn't have many fields, but still you spend some time adding everything manually. Or what if I say there is an easier way? In case you don't know, Gutenberg has patterns. Those block patterns are small, ready-made sections of a web page that can be added to any design. To find them, click on the Add Block button, and instead of the Blocks tab, choose Patterns. Here you will find the default Gutenberg patterns, although if you have the JetFormBuilder installed, there will be also JetForms. As you can see, we have a contact us form that I used in our previous tutorial, and also such forms as application, booking, profile, and more. And of course, there is login and register one. So instead of creating a form from scratch manually, you can simply add this pattern and adjust it easily according to your needs. Let me quickly delete the fields I created before and add the login and register pattern. The best thing about patterns is that it has all the necessary fields, so there is no need to look for and add each field, then fill in their labels and so on. Now it can be done just in a couple of clicks. And by the way, these form patterns are so universal. You can use just one form pattern on many websites, simply adjusting the number of fields and customizing it according to your needs. This pattern has the same text fields: name, email, password, country, and a sign up button. Also, you have a pre-made image block, and if you need to set any image here, click on Replace and choose one from the media library or upload a file. I will delete this block as I want to keep it simple. And also, I don't need this field with the country. Alright, one more thing before we move on to styling our form. You can achieve 3 different styles here. The first one is this default look. It has an empty field and a label on top. What you can also have is a label inside a field. For that, you can remove it from the field label, then unfold Advanced, and add it to placeholder. Keep in mind that whenever the user starts typing, they won't be able to see the placeholder label. Of course, you can leave both field label and a placeholder. However, if you need a more flexible option to give the users a better understanding of what kind of information is needed, you can set an input mask. Here you can define a mask type, a default, or a date time. Then fill in the input mask itself. For example, for an email, you can set an example of what a correct email should look like. A bit below, you also will be able to set a mask visibility and a mask placeholder. And moreover, in the advanced, you can add a previous page button, change the field visibility, and set a CSS class name. So we are done with our pattern. You can leave the pre-made fields, adjust the data you need, and of course add more fields by clicking on the Add Block button. And now it's time to style our forms. As you may know, Gutenberg has no styling options, although there is one plugin that literally gives you a lot of possibilities for styling the blocks, JetStyleManager. If you don't have this plugin, simply go to Crocoblock dashboard, find You can install more plugins with your license section, install JetStyleManager, and once it's activated, you will see this block style button in the upper right corner. Let's select the text field and proceed to styling it. So under the block style, you will have options for styling every field element separately. Text input is for the data that will be filled by the user. Here you can change the text size, font family, weight, and also add padding. And this step is optional, but I will also select solid for the border type. Border width will be 1 pixel, and border radius 5 pixels. Below you can adjust the colors for the border, text, and background. Under the next tab, Content, you can add margin and padding, change the alignment, set a border and background color, and all that will be applied to the content only. The next three options are for the label itself, required mark, and description if you have any. Let's transform the label text a bit, and then change the size of the required mark, and set this orange color. Style the rest of the fields, repeating the same steps. And the last one is Submit field. Submit wrap is for adjusting the padding. I'm gonna add 20 pixels for the top to add the space between the button and the last field. And under the Submit button section, I will set 100% for the button width, although you can make it of any width here. Button and text alignment will be center. And then of course, change the typography settings so the button label matches the rest of the fields. The next step, I will select the same border type, solid, border width will be 0, and border radius 40 pixels to make round corners. And finally, let's set text and background colors. If you are satisfied with the result, then let's move on to the next step. Let's quit the styling mode. So right here we took a look at the block settings, although there is one more tab, a JetForm. Starting with the form settings, I'm gonna set Ajax for a submit type. But if you need a whole page to be reloaded, then select first option, page reload. Under the fields layout, you can set the layout to row or column. And the next one, capture settings. I won't be enabling this option, but in case you want to add it, you can watch our detailed video on how to add a recapture to a form. What we really need and what this form won't work without is post-submit actions. And those are special actions that will be performed after the user clicks on the submit button. They will be different depending on the form type, and you can apply more than one action to a form. So in our case, for the register form, we will apply these actions. Obviously, register user 1, and then send email if you want a new user to get an email about the successful registration. And also you can add redirect to a page action, for example account page, and it will make the registration process a lot easier. And by the way, before I start adding the actions, if you need more information on how to work with the post-submit actions, check this handy tutorial. And now let's select the first one, Register User, and then click on the Edit Action button. On top of the Edit Action window, you'll see a toggle Allow creating new users by existing users. If you want to enable this option, don't forget to select a role for a user who will be allowed to create new users. For example, this option can be handy if you have some corporate or closed website or forum, and for example, only administrators will be able to register new users. Below, we have a Fields map. The fields listed here are important for the user's account. Next to every field, you can see a drop-down menu with a list of form fields. And by choosing a form field, you link it with the user account field. The data from the form field will be used to fill the corresponding user account field. Please be attentive here and make sure that you select the appropriate form fields for the required ones. For the user login, I will set name, email for email as well, and the last two options here, passwords, are extremely important. Please be attentive and make sure you select password in password, and confirm password is chosen for confirm password. Because for example, if you select password for confirm password, the form probably will be submitted, although a new user won't be registered, so keep that in mind. And then select a role for a new user, for example, customer. And lastly, we have user meta. If you have added some custom meta fields to the user account, you can link the form fields with them if needed. Just type in the name of the correspondent field in front of the form field's name. If you want the new users to be logged in after registration, then toggle this option on. And also the next one means that register user ID will be added to form data. If the form is filled by a logged-in user, current user ID will be added to form data. Toggle this on as well if needed. Below, we have messages settings where you can customize the necessary ones. When you're done, click Update. We need to add one more action. Let's click on the New Action button. Send email is also chosen here. And then click on Edit. Mail to. And this is where you choose who will receive the message. Admin email, the email that is mentioned in the admin's user account. Email from submitted form field. The address will be taken from one of the fields the user has just filled. You will be able to specify the field in the From field drop-down menu, like this. And this option is the best if you want to send the letters dynamically to the address the user just added. And a custom email. In the email address, you can type the email address to which the message will be sent. Let it be the second option. Reply to. Here you can set the address which you would like to use for receiving answers. I will set a custom email address. Subject. The subject of the letter that the user will receive. For example, confirmation email. From name and from address is what the user will see in the from bar of the letter and as the address of the letter sender. Fill this out. Content type. Here you can choose if the message will be plain text or an HTML code. And finally, in the content, insert the text or HTML code into this text area That will be the body of the message. For example, let's type, "Dear customer, thank you for registration." And the last one. In case you want to add a redirect to a page action, under the redirect to, you can choose, for example, static page. And a bit below, you will find a list of all your pages. And then you can select custom URL and insert it right here, or also use a preset. And moreover, you can also set it to current page. Other options aren't needed here, so let's just click Update. JetForm tab also has preset settings. Preset is a function that makes filling the form easier for the user. If there are several forms a visitor has to fill, you can take the recurring information like the first and last name, phone number, email address, etc. from one form to another. That kind of data automatically appears in the form so the user doesn't have to retype it, and this can sufficiently improve the user experience on your website. If you want to add a preset to the form you're currently working with, open the preset settings and turn the enable toggle on. And lastly, if you unfold general messages settings, you will be able to customize the messages of success, fail, error, etc. Let's change the first one into "Congratulations, your account has been successfully created." Okay, and since I'm done here, I'm gonna click Publish. As for displaying your form on the front end, yes, it was created in Gutenberg, so you can open any page created in Gutenberg as well, and pull this form using the JetForm block. Or you can use it with Elementor. Open any Elementor page, find JetForm widget, and choose the form you want to display. See? It's super easy. Of course, here you will find more settings for customizing field layout, required mark, submit type, and also you can toggle on Enable Form Pages Progress if needed. A JetForm widget also has a lot of styling options, but if you want to use your form only with Elementor and this widget, I suggest you skip styling when creating a form. So you save a form with its default design, proceed to Elementor, and then style it here with the help of JetForm widget. If you think we're done here, then no, I have one more option for you. You can pull the forms using the shortcodes. Let's try this out. Go back to the dashboard, JetFormBuilder, Forms. Copy the shortcode of a form you want to use. Then go to any Elementor page, apply the shortcode widget, and enter your form's shortcode right here. That's it. Style the section, adjust its width, and so on. Of course, you can skip the next part, however, I find this option quite useful. Let's try to display the same form in a pop-up. In my case, a pop-up will appear when the user hits the register button. This is pretty easy to do. Of course, for this one, you need the Jet Popup plugin. Click on Create a New Pop-up button. Give it a name, publish it, and proceed to Elementor. You can display the form using the JetForm widget. However, I will use the shortcode one. Let's also style the pop-up a bit. I'm gonna click on this Settings button and then adjust the background color for the pop-up container. Also, you can change the border radius so the container has rounded corners. Adjust the button style if needed, and it's pretty much it. Finally, I'm gonna go back to the Settings tab, unfold Settings, and enable loading content with Ajax, and then force loading as well. Publish the pop-up. If you're interested in the pop-up plugin possibilities, then watch this extensive video tutorial. And now I will open the header, then edit this simple button that says Register, proceed to the Advanced tab, and unfold the Jet pop-up section. In the attached pop-up, I will select the pop-up I just created. Trigger type will be click on the widget. And that's it. Time to check if everything works fine. Either open a page where you placed your form, or in my case, I will open a website, click on the register right here, and then fill in the form that appeared in a pop-up. Name, then email, and here goes the password. And let's try to enter 2 different ones and check it. Yep, it says passwords don't match. And if I use the same one, then the form is successfully submitted. If you set a redirect to a page action, then a new page will be opened. And to check if there is a new user on the website, let's go to the dashboard, Users, and here is a new one I just registered. Of course, except for the register form, you also need a login form. And this is what the second part of this tutorial will be about. If you don't want to miss it, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And by the way, if there are any questions, check the links in the description or leave your comment under this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.